Hello, welcome to Afroshine Live. This is Clyde Sharati. Again, we're very happy with this opportunity that we have every second day, every Tuesday and every Thursday to share something with you guys. Afroshine is all about helping African Australians to shine and Africans everywhere, really, to shine. We want to be able to highlight the beautiful things that are happening within African Australian communities. We want to be able to empower and enlighten Africans so that they can shine in whatever area of their interest. We know that there is a lot of talents out there. There's a lot of skills in our communities, and much of it is not really shown. And African media has taken that battle, so to speak, to shine a positive light for African Australians. So tonight's show, we're talking about economic power, and we're talking specifically about multiple streams of income. It's very important when you live in a capitalist society to have economic power, uh, because a capitalist society is a society that is dominated by the word capital. Capital as finance, capital is everything that has value that can be exchanged in the system. Uh, we live in Australia, for example. The economy is quite competitive. The economy is fast, and people have to obviously hold jobs to be able to make money. And some people go into business, they make more money, and they have power to do things that they want to do. Because in a capitalist society, if you don't have money, you are not really free. In traditional societies, you don't have to have money. You can live without having much money or no money at all. You have your either you can go to the fields, and you have probably a farm where you have food, you get food from it. You can go fishing and you get food from it, and you don't need any money to live on. But when you live in a modern capitalist society, making money is important. Now we can convert that into I suppose use a better words, saying creating wealth. Creating wealth is a very important topic, and I think as we have we've been saying in this show a lot of times that within African Australian communities, within African communities in general, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about our culture, our identity, music, entertainment, and politics, but we don't talk enough about creating wealth. And we're trying to bring another discourse into our community's conversation, so that we talk more about money. We educate our children about making money. We educate people in the community about economic power. It is very, very important, because if we don't have economic power, you are going to be at the mercy of whoever has economic power, or whoever has capital, and that they need you to be exploited. Now, again, I'm not a communist, really. I'm just saying that if you don't have capital, you're going to be at the mercy of whoever is your boss. So it's important to talk about this topic. So again, I would like to just remind you, as you're watching, this is an interactive show. We really want it to be interactive. So if you have questions, if you have comments, please make them. And I want to just ask you, wherever you're watching, please put a comment. Tell us where you're watching from, so we know. We know that people are watching from different locations: Melbourne, in Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, Africa, America, and Europe, all over the world. That's the beauty of the internet. So please make a quick comment. Just tell us where you are watching from, and that will be very good. And again, if you haven't really liked our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, we encourage you that you do that. So, um, multiple streams of income. This is the topic tonight. How do you create multiple streams of income? There's a lot of us in the economy who are just employed and expect to be paid every fortnight or every month or every week, whatever the arrangement is, and we depend on that income that's coming. Once that income stops, well, we're in a bit of trouble. And lately, with the corona crisis, it shows how things can be quite fragile. If you had a job and that job stops, you can't make money anymore, you're in trouble. You'll be forced to go into, I suppose, Centrelink system, and that is really not a good thing. Although some people find it very comfortable to be in the social security system, but that is not something that none of us should aim for. And it's very important that we should be able to raise, to create our own wealth, to be economically independent, financially independent, so that we can do the things that we like to do. We don't have to spend 8 hours working, then 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours preparing and going to work and from work. If you do the maths, it's about 11 hours every day. That's a lot of time. But how do you then become financially independent? It's a very important question that needs to be looked at. Again, I want to say uh, thank you to Dennis Ziroba, who has just commented, and we will put that comment on the screen. It says, I once heard you don't need financial capital to start anything. Many people have given such excuse, hence nothing over get started. Well, you don't need to start, but you will need some money at some point. Yes, that's a very good point you're making there, and I will talk about that. It doesn't start with money; it starts with the brains, because money is, remember, money is just paper. It's or plastic. Australian money is made with plastic. So main makes money, and you start with the brain. But money is sort of like the blood into the system. If you run out of blood into the system, you are in trouble. But we're going to come back to that in a moment. A very good comment, though, and I really appreciate that. So where do you start when we want to create multiple streams of income? I suppose it starts with a focus on growth. You really need to want to grow as a person, to grow, to really have that hunger for success. If you don't want to succeed, if you don't want to create wealth, it's going to be difficult. There's got to be that inner hunger, inner thirst, and determination to want to achieve something, to want to become somebody and be independent, not depend on your boss only, but be able to have sufficient income so that you can do most of the things that you would like to do in life without having to have somebody impose how you use your time. Even though obviously it's important to, at some point, for some time in life, to be employed, at least even to learn how to work and create value out of something, to provide solutions for people who need those solutions. So you start with that hunger for growth, hunger for success. You got to have the power. You have to have the power within you to say that I want to do X, Y, Z. You got to have a vision in you and say, with my life, I want to be able to achieve this. And it's not just material. And again, I'm talking about financial here. It's not the accent is not really just on achieving financial wealth, but financial wealth is actually a means to an end, because you may want to have may want to leave a legacy, whatever legacy you want to leave in this world. You're going to need, in the current system, you're going to need to have some sort of financial resources to be able to deliver that. So that's where it starts. It starts with growth, personal growth, the hunger to become somebody, to achieve something and leave a legacy. And you'll be driven by a particular vision that you may have in your life. I really, again, want to remind our viewers, as you're watching, make comments, ask questions. We can even invite you to this into the studio, the virtual studio, where you can make a comment online through video, as opposed to just writing text. And I'm going to be showing the number on the screen. The number is 0437724469. If you text us on this number, we can get you to make a video comment if you want to, through your mobile, your laptop, or your desktop. So start with that focus on growth, on becoming somebody and achieving some vision that you have in your life. And then it goes from there into what we call a skill set. And here we're starting to go into what I called initially capital. Well, capital is not just money. In fact, as I said earlier, it's not all about money. It starts with skills. What do you know? What do you have? Have you ever done a personal skill set inventory? So trying to find out what is it that you are good at, what are some of your talents and your skills and qualities, and how you can utilize these to add value. Because creating wealth, it starts with the determination to add value into people's lives, to provide solutions to a variety of people. Because If you are able to do that, and then people would want to come to you to solve particular problems. And when people come to you, obviously they bring something in return. You provide them with something, and they give you something back, and usually that is in the form of money or many other things. When you go to spend hours at work, 8 hours a day, well, you are utilizing your mind, your physical energy, and everything you have, physically and intellectually, to your boss, and in return your boss gives you money. But you need to be able to analyze what sort of skills you have and how you can use those skills to actually create more value, and be able to earn money from that, and use that as a platform to even create more value for the things you would like to be able to achieve. So everyone has skills. There's absolutely nobody on earth who has absolutely no skills. If you are human, you are healthy, and you are not deranged in somehow, you're a normal person, well, you have skills that you can utilize to assist others, to provide solutions to other things. So do some sort of skills inventory. What is it that people have often told you that you actually do well, and how can then go from there, use that to create something, use your creativity to actually provide solutions to a variety of issues where people can actually come back and give you something in return. So skills inventory is a very good thing that we all need to do, and that obviously is connected to our education. What sort of education you have, and I'm not just talking in terms of schooling, because most of us have gone to school, but some of us have done much more schooling than others. What is preventing you from studying even further and getting further qualification that may help you to do more things? But beyond formal education, we're talking about self-education, which I think actually is very, very important. So if you thinking of increasing your economic power and creating multiple streams of income, you got to look not just at your own schooling, what sort of education you have, but self-education and self-leadership. And by that, I mean, the books you read, the workshops you attend, the seminars you attend, maybe you watch videos, motivational videos, or some sort of, you are interested in some sort of field where you would like to acquire more expertise. So you need to sort of look at that and see how you can then improve whatever foundation you have from your schooling to build something. We know the story in the world. Many of the wealthiest people in the world have not finished formal schooling. I mean, have not finished university. The Bill Gates, the Mark Zuckerberg, and all those people who have billions of dollars, they had some sort of formal schooling, and then they went ahead and do their own things, and they did those things so well that they excelled in them, and they've become what they've become today. So that goes into that sort of self education and self leadership level, which is beyond what they teach you at school, because through the education system, they don't teach us much how to make money. They don't teach us much how to impact the world in a powerful way. They don't teach much business management, because I think everybody has to actually have some business management skills. You know why? Because life is a business. Life is a business, and you have to treat it as such. You've got things that you have that people don't have. There are other things that people have that you don't have, and you have to exchange with people. You have to manage your mind. You manage yourself, your emotions, and you have to offer things to people. We sell every day. When you communicate with people, you're actually selling some ideas. You're selling some projects. You sell every day. So life is a business and ought to be managed as such. But we don't get that sort of education from formal schooling. You have to kind of look at that yourself, and see how you can manage your life in a way that at the end of it, you look at it and say, I'm really happy with what I have done. And that's very important. So that in terms of the skill set. Now, beyond skill set, there is more that needs to be done. Before I go into the next point, I just want to remind you again, as you're watching, Feel free to make comments. Tell us where you are watching from, and ask questions and make comments. We'll be happy to look at what you're saying. And that is a way of participating and contributing to this platform, which is all about helping Africans in Australia and beyond to shine. And that is a responsibility that we all ought to embrace. The reason why we've put this platform together is simply to fill a gap where we see there's a limited communication, limited education within our communities about the need to excel, the need to create wealth, the need to create value. And we spend a lot of time into many things, but we ought to have that conversation in our community, in our communities, wherever we may be. So feel free to make a comment or contact us if you want to do that via video communication. So the next thing is about financial capital. Yeah, so your skills will get you places. Your skills. Even there's a Bible for those who are Christian. I know not every one of you watching this may be a Christian, but and I'm not preaching, but there's a Bible verse that says that your skills will get you in front of kings, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. So your skills will take you places, and from that places you would have the favor of people. But because of the economic system in which we live, you're going to need financial capital to achieve things, whether it's about building a house or buying things that you need, whether it's a car or whatever other material you need, or even if you have a project that, for example, you want to be able to help people, you want to run a charity, you're going to need money. If you don't have it yourself, you're going to have to find people who can help you to achieve that. So financial capital is very important. How do you get financial capital? Well, obviously, you start with what you can do. If you are employed, you obviously making money, but are you saving any money? Because remember, in the capitalist society, as I said earlier, if you lack capital, if you don't have capital, you're going to be at the mercy of those who do have capital and who are going to employ you for you to help them achieve their vision. So if you have your own vision, you're gonna need to find some money. So if you are employed, you don't have a business, for example, you're employed, you can start saving money so that at some point you have enough to start your own things. There is a very good book that I would recommend for everyone to read. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. I repeat, The Richest Man in Babylon. If you haven't read that book, I encourage you to read it. It's very good in terms of empowering you on the power to make money, to save money, and then make money work for you. Because it's not a good idea to always work for money. At some point, you need to get money to work for you. How do you get money to work for? And that's what is capitalism anyway. Your money can work for you and work even harder than you do yourself, because at some point, even as we age, you're not going to be able to work anymore. But if your money is working for you, then you are in a better position. For example, I decided 3 years and a bit ago that I didn't want to work 9 to 5 anymore, because it was just too much of my time sitting on a desk 9 to 5 investigating. And I used to do an investigation job, managing complaints and all that. And before that, I worked many other jobs. But I just decided I didn't want to work anymore. But I needed to find a way to obviously continue to make money, because I'm going to need money for myself, for my family, for my vision of the things that I would like to do. But I decided that I have to have a plan to make that a reality. It's a good thing to have an idea. It's another thing to actually translate that idea into something successful. So I had to find a way to acquire enough capital and use that capital to start something that will bring me money, so that I will have enough to live on, but still have more time to do the things that I really want to do, rather than the things that I have to do because I am employed by somebody. So eventually that led into starting a business, and I run a business. I've got a few things that I do, but a couple of them involve beside the media, which is has its limitations. But I have a transportation and removalist business that has been working quite well, and it's another story how that has happened. But I started with just one vehicle, one truck. Now I've got 5 trucks. That I run with that company. So over 2 years and a half, I've been able to multiply my assets, and now I don't have to work every day. I mostly supervise things that are happening, but I can also from time to time go and work with my guys. So that decision to get there meant that I needed to find a way to acquire finance. And finance, you can acquire it yourself, as I said, by saving, and you need to know how you can save money. It's not necessarily something that can happen without some sort of adjustment. Some people are very good at saving money, others are not so good. There are some good techniques that you can actually learn, and that's why I encourage you to read that book, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, if you can't save money yourself, you can also actually get money from the bank. You can borrow money, and that's the good thing about the capitalist system. The banks are there to help people get money to do things, to create businesses, and from that, people will be able to create, businesses, and make more money, and the economy can actually grow. That is a very important thing. Now, let me just, as I continue, take another comment that we just got here from. The next one is Torokin. Some librarians don't read, sir. Okay, I understand why some people don't read. That's actually is a big problem. It's a problem that goes beyond the librarian, and I think many of us from African background, we seem to have that issue. We don't read much, and there's a saying that says, "If you can't read, you can't lead." If you want to be a leader, and leader doesn't mean you need to run crowds. You can be a leader of your own life. You can manage your self government properly and be successful. You got to read, and it's a shame that quite a few of us don't read as much as we should read. So that's very good. We need to encourage people to read so that they can improve their brain power, and they can actually get fruit from that improvement. Because if you increase and improve your brain power, it ultimately will result into better output, and that can be either creating more wealth, or making more money if you stay into some sort of employment framework. If you can do things better, your boss will like you and probably will be promoted, and promotion means you can actually make more money. I have another comment here. Said, do we have someone who can help with selling product on Amazon or other online businesses? Happy to pay a reasonable price for the help. Thank you. Okay, that's again a very good comment, because there are opportunities that are out there in terms of creating multiple sources of income, and online business is actually the way to go. There is a lot of that is happening right now, and with Corona, that will only increase, because a lot more people who have not been able to do things online have been forced through the Corona crisis to actually be able to do that. Even people who wouldn't be able to buy things online before, now they have been forced to do that. So the online commerce is going to expand, and a lot more people will be looking on online platform to solve a variety of to solve a variety of problems, and then people will have to provide those solutions to those problems, and one of them is selling product, and Amazon is a good platform. I actually know somebody, if Nadia, and you can contact me after the show, and I can guide you on that. And there are a few other online platforms that we can talk about in the future as well. So coming back to the point about financial capital, if you want to be able to have multiple streams of income, you got to have financial capital. That can come from you saving money yourself, or going to the banks. If you have a good credit history, you have a good employment, you can actually get money from the banks. And again, here I want to make a quick point about having a good credit history. I know that some of us who have come from Africa and living in Australia, for example, we don't necessarily have that financial literacy. And this is not just about an African problem. There are a lot of such issues even within the Australian society. People who've been born and lived here in Australia who are not financially educated. You got to be able to educate yourself financially. Seek some financial literacy education and teach that to your children if you already mature and have children, it is very important, because there are people who make actually quite good money, but they are unable to achieve anything because they've got really hard time to manage their finances, and that is not good in a capitalist society. And some of us wreck our credit history because of the things we do. We take debts that we don't pay. We don't care much about maintaining a good credit history, which is important to have borrowing power. And that is very, very important, because if you want to borrow money from the banks, they'll look at whether you're a good borrower, whether you are likely to, pay to service the debt. So you need to prepare yourself. If you want to get more money from the bank, prepare yourself. Even when you, for example, you want to buy a house, if you see a financial advisor, they'll tell you you need to start preparing even 1 year before, to prepare your credit history, pay your bills on time, save some money, so the bank can see that for a year or more you've been saving, and you are a person who's capable of being able to meet the financial requirements or obligations you have when you take a loan. So financial capital is very important. Get the money to work for you. So save money or borrow money and make it work for you. And that again is connected to the skill set, because your knowledge, your brain power will affect everything you do. Educate yourself. Take time to research things. Take time to find things that will allow you to grow, rather than necessarily just things that entertain you. That's a very important thing. The third thing in terms of the financial, I mean, what the things that will help you to create multiple streams of income is what I call social capital. Again, the word capital will continue to come here, because it is just shows the things of value that can be utilized, leveraged to create more value and bring wealth towards you. Social capital is as important, if not actually sometimes even more important than money. What do I mean by social capital? Well, social capital is about the people that you know, the people who can do things for you, who can do you a favor, who can help you, who can connect you, who can bring opportunities to you. We underestimate how that is important in societies such as this. Whether it's in employment or business or any other setting, the number of people that are part of your network is actually quite valuable, especially not just the number and the quality of people. So, are you doing anything in terms of building and maintaining a network that you know that will be quite useful in helping you? Now, if you're preparing yourself to, let's say, start a business, well, start getting connected, finding people who can help you. Grow your social capital, grow your network. Don't wait until the time when you will need it in order for you to get it. Because by the time you need something, it means you actually don't have it at the time, most of the time. So if you know that, if you understand the value of what people can bring into your life, because everything we get in life actually comes through other people. That's just how it works. Whether it's in family, whether it's in our professional settings or community settings or business, everything comes through people in business, customers, partners, suppliers. These are people who are somehow interacting with you in order for you to be able to do what you are doing. Whether you in family, obviously you have your family members who are helping you and you're helping them, and you have that blood relationship. In work, teamwork is very, very important in every type of work you go. So your social capital includes all of those people that you know and who know you and who can help you in some ways. Networking, that's another way to call social capital. So it can actually be even more more valuable, because you know the saying, it's not just what you know, it's who you know, and that's very important. In Australia here, most of the jobs actually, most of the jobs that people get, they get it through networking. Even when you see jobs on newspapers, a lot of times those jobs are already gone, but they need to be advertised to fill the requirement, the conditions that are attached to the actual jobs, because by law you have to advertise a job to show that there's been a due process. But a lot of time somebody knows already, okay, there's been this job, we know this person, we need this person, and the connections, and that's how you get most of the good jobs. So especially when you come into a new country, you've lost your family, you've lost your extended family. You may be here with your wife, her husband, or children, but that network of family that you and people you've grown up with, you don't have it, and that means you have to build it yourself, and that requires a bit of work. We come from a collective mindset, from an African background, but when we get here, that thing seems to disappear. There's a lot of suspicion with ourselves. We don't work as um, together as much as we normally should. People still, when it comes to entertainment or cultural stuff, we're often together. But for things that relates to making money, or developing stuff, building organizations, building businesses, that working together is not there anymore. So that's something we all need to work on in order to be able to improve ourselves, because we know that we can get more power from others. Others can add a lot into our lives, and we can also add value to other people's life. I'll just read a comment here. Say, education is crucial, but like you said, Claude, it is not a guarantee for being wealthy. What you own, you can control and develop, no matter how small. Own something and start there. Absolutely correct. Education is important. It's not going to guarantee you you'll be successful. You got to develop it. You got to go. Like I said, there's the formal education, there's self-education. I value self-education a lot more than formal education. But you got to start from formal education, because you need to know how to read and write, and then eventually you need to learn how to develop yourself. You need to find the knowledge that you need, because in this world there's so much information, so much knowledge. Now if you have a vision, you got to learn how to find the information you need for that particular vision to come to pass. So it is very important to go to that next level. And I'll take another comment here. It says, but some family doesn't help at all, and they won't understand what you're trying to do. Yes, that is correct. Families, some of them can actually be a block, a stumbling block for your development. But you got to do that, work to explain, to at least tell people what you're trying to achieve, and see if they can help you. If they don't, at some point you got to keep going, because you have a vision to achieve. You have goals that you've set for yourself. And if family members want to come and help, that's fine. If they don't, well, just keep going. But they will believe in you. They will believe you once they've seen that progress coming. So we need to balance the need to remain connected with our family, because it is very important. It's not a good thing to be alienated from one's family. They say man is a social animal, and if you isolate yourself, you will not be as happy as when you are connected to a family of people who love you, who care for you, and you do the same for them as well. So you need to develop that as much as possible. But at some point, if some people are becoming a stumbling block for you, you got to just keep moving, and they will eventually join. Or if they don't, they will even see from far that you have been right all along, and they've been wrong. So you show care, and then you move forward. Somebody says, I will share this information for others to listen. Absolutely. We will be happy for you to share that. And it's all about educating our communities, because economic power is very important, and Africans have to shine. And nowadays, I think I shared that a couple of weeks or so ago. They were saying that Africa is the next China. The potential for Africa to be the engine of global economic, the global economy are there, and many people in high circles in many government understand that when this shift goes from Asia, from China and Asia, it will actually be going to Africa. But we ought to be able to, I suppose, be at the level that we need to be in order for us to achieve that goals. We have to lift our own level. We need to go to that next step, that next level in our thinking, in our in enterprise. So we need to, be able to do things to create wealth, to create companies, to create organizations that bring value into the society and into this world. Even though we have difficulties, whether it's in the political, settings in Africa, or we have other difficulties in many other areas, but we have to start having a conversation where we slowly and gradually address many of the issues that we have. For example, us as the diaspora, we got a big role to play in helping Africa to move forward. And those of us who are living in other countries abroad, as much as we obviously may be successful in where we are, we should not forget our responsibility to the countries where we come from and the communities there who need our assistance. So social capital, very important. It's not just about what you know. It's not just about how much money you may have or you may be able to raise. It's about the people you know, because sometimes you can actually have money, but you don't know what to do with it, or you end up wasting that money because you don't have the expertise. Some people have had opportunities where they get money, but very soon that money is gone because they were not surrounded by the right people. People win lotto, they get millions, and a couple of years or more later, that money is gone. That's because they were not prepared to handle that high amount of money, and they don't surround themselves with the right people who can help them make the right decisions, so that the money they've earned or they've won can be multiplied, and they will not end up being broke. So social capital is important. And then the other capital is what I call the sweat capital. Now, sweat capital is what? Is work, is hard work. You gotta work. There's no alternative. You have to burn the midnight oil. You need to work hard and smart. You hear people say, "Oh, you got to work smart, not hard." No, you got to do both. You got to work hard and smart. Nobody has succeeded. People like Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, who's deceased now, and all these entrepreneurs, they'll tell you that they spend hours and hours developing their product. They spend a lot of time working on their business and in their business. That is the only way to move forward. You can't just think that, okay, let me just put ideas together and somehow I'll be successful. Ideas are just the beginning. You can have the most brilliant idea, but it may not go anywhere if you're not able to put the energy into that idea. So sweating is important. Even for those who know, who are from a Christian background, with the Bible that says you will I mean, you have to earn your bread with your sweat. You have to work for it. You can't just expect that you're gonna have manna coming down to from heaven for you to eat from it. So you can be very skilled. You can have access to money. You can have also access to people, but you got to put work in whatever you are doing in order for you to be able to succeed. So these are the four things that are important in terms of developing. Now you need to take all these things to put them together and then start looking at how you can create multiple incomes, multiple streams of income. And what can you do? Well, if you can provide some sort of solution, you may be working, keeping a job now, but how about developing some sort of consultancy that you can be doing on the side? You could be an IT specialist working for a bank or whatever company. But if you want to be able to get income, extra income, you could, think of how you can sell your skills on the internet, for example, because that's where everybody is going, or even throughout the community. So you can provide the same skills, and be able to earn extra money, so you don't just rely on one stream of income from your boss. You can also look at how you can, whatever else whatever else you can acquire, and how you can develop that. So it's about really wanting to be out there and say, okay, I've got skills and I need to sell these skills. And that's where sometimes things uh, fall, because people don't know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to sell what they have. People have very, I mean, they are not as aggressive in terms of selling their skills as they should. And then trying to find people who can actually help you to sell what you have. I have a friend, for example, who is very good in writing, and he spent hours and hours writing every day. And I've asked him, well, have you thought of utilizing your writing skills? You could do some copy editing. And on the internet these days, there are platforms, many of them out there, where you sell your services. There may be many people out there who have actually the need to get somebody to help them do some work in terms of uh, editing the text that they are writing, whether it's for business, whether it's for many other settings. So if you have skills in that area, find particular platform where you could sell that, or find somebody who can help you to put a website together where you sell your skills. So you'll be very comfortable in delivering that, because it is something that you are very gifted in. Whatever skills that you have, if you're using that just for your employment, that's good, nothing wrong with that. But find a way where you can actually sell that. And again, with the comment that we just got from the one of the viewers there, was talking about online services on Amazon. I mean, products on Amazon. That's an easy type of sort of trade, or business that you can do. Amazon is there. It's a huge market. You can source product and sell product. There are many people on the internet these days who are helping people to sell on Amazon. That's another way of creating income. There are lots and lots of programs that you can visit, you can get access to online to assist you in doing that. Above all, you have to have a particular mindset that will lead you to looking at what is it that you want to be able to achieve, and how you go about in achieving it. We're coming almost to the end of the 45 minutes. It goes very fast. And I want to say thank you for those who have been watching, and including the gentleman who's commented saying he's going to share that. And I also will encourage everyone watching to share the video. But I just want to summarize all of this before we finish. Economic power is very important. It means we need to be able to create wealth. Wealth start with the mind, what you know, and how you can develop your mind. You can develop yourself so that you can offer more value to other people's, whether for free or for a fee. But obviously, in terms of wealth, we're talking things that you can offer for a fee, services that you can provide. And there are lots of things that you can do. There are lots of platforms today with the advancement of technology, the internet. You can sell yourself, you can sell the skills you have, you can leverage on whatever is successful that other people are doing. But you have to have that drive, you have to have that vision that you want to be able to do more, and you don't just want to be a 9 to 5 worker. You got to be able to achieve more. Entrepreneurship is very important. You can learn it, you can, obviously develop yourself, as we're talking about developing the mind. Read a lot, because reading means you are constantly bringing new information into your brain, and that can connect with things that you can actually quickly do to be able to raise income, and not just rely on one particular income, because the world is going to be more unstable. This coronavirus thing is just really showing us what can happen, and more of such things, unfortunately, can be expected. I don't want to be a doom type of prophet, but I can see that things are going to be changing in this world. So you can't rely on just on one income. Your job can go any minute. Things can happen anytime. So you got to know how you're going to support yourself and be able to develop those ideas that you have, turn them into businesses that will create wealth. But there's work that needs to be done. There is a price that needs to be paid. You got to develop your skills. You got to be good at handling your finances. You got to be good at developing your network, and you got to be able to work more, invest your time. There's also another Bible verse that says, sow your seed in the morning, and at the evening, let your hands not be idle, for you do not know which one will succeed, whether this or that, whether both will do equally well. So it simply means that, sow your seed in the morning. It means, for example, go to work in the morning, but when you come back from work, you still have time. There's 24 hours a day. Maybe you spend 8 to 10 hours working and coming back to work. I mean, to coming back home from work. And then from that point to when you go to bed, there's 6, 8 hours for some that can be utilized to develop yourself to do something. And that's what many people who have been successful in life have been doing. Instead of watching TV all night, they started doing something, so that they create another opportunity for them to offer value in many ways and increase their income and be more, be more independent financially, and that can lead even to much bigger things. It's not all about becoming millionaires. It's just about wanting to achieve some level of financial independence, be able to create wealth and add value into one's own life, as well as the life of the community and the world, because we're all capable of achieving great things if we really want to. So that's it for this edition of Afroshine. And next Thursday, we're going to be having guests. Most of these shows, we have guests, but some of them I just want to have that opportunity to just speak and share and get comments, and people reacting to these sort of things. But next week, next Thursday, in two days, we're going to have a female entrepreneur who's going to be talking to us about how she's been successful in what she's doing. And then next Tuesday, we're going to have a marketing professor of African background who's going to share with us some marketing tools and secrets that we can use to develop businesses for those who have big businesses, or those who may be thinking of doing business, because marketing is very important. So until next time, stay connected, share our videos, and comment, and like us on Facebook, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. This has been Claude Sharadi from Afroshine here at Melbourne in Australia. Thank you. Bye-bye.